Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special interview as part of our build-up to No Vacancy Expo London, which takes place in the UK on 25th, 26th of February, 2026 at Excel London. I'm Dan Assor, I'm the General Manager of No Vacancy Expo Europe, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Matt Prosser, Senior Sales Director for EMEA at Agilysys, a global leader in hospitality technology and platinum sponsor of the London show. Matt, thanks so much for joining me today.
Dan, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the trends and opportunities that are shaping the industry, can you just start by telling us a bit about your role at Agilysys and the types of clients that you work with across the region?
My role within Agilysys is really leading the commercial team, but specific to the UK, Ireland, Europe, and the Middle East. And actually an industry that I've worked in for over 30 years.
Right.
I wouldn't swap it for the world. I'm an ex-hotelier. I came up through the ranks into the management scene in the London hotel market many years ago, and from there transcended into the supply chain and mixed my interest with technology and really wanted to try and shape and do things slightly differently within industry. Agilysys as an organization is in the global market has actually been present for a long time. But 8-9 years ago, we made a commitment to our customers, and also, I think, predominantly to the industry itself, to really take a hard look at how technology needs to be provided to really enhance all aspects of the operation. We really wanted to take, I guess, through developing our platforms and our solutions, a new level of thinking, actually, a new level of thinking that perhaps wasn't in anyone's minds in this industry. And it was never in anyone's minds because the, I guess, legacy ethos of procurement of technology in this industry we love has pretty much been static for decades. So we set about a journey of modernizing, creating a suite of products that either together generated a tailored, personalized experience, both for the customer, the guest, I should say, driving operational efficiency, but through one standard platform. All right. In addition to that, we were also cognizant of the need to ensure that the products that we created, and when I talk about our products, I talk about foundational systems such as property management, point of sale inventory, but then the peripheral solutions that sit around every hotel, every resort, cruise ships, theme parks, that really needed a consistent technology stack. We didn't want to see a suite of 15, 20 different products that had inconsistent architecture, inconsistent UI, different workflows. It needed to be consistent.
Let's get into it. We're going to dive into some of the big themes shaping the hospitality sector right now, specifically around technology, and also around personalisation, guest experience, and where technology is making a real difference. I know this is something that you and the team at Agilysys are really focused on, so we'll start there. I guess my first question is, how and what do you see as guest expectations changing? And I guess, what does effective personalisation look like today in the hotel space?
But personalisation is key, all right? I think the world that we live in, the consumer world we live in, general personalization isn't going to cut it anymore. All right. And we almost come out of our consumer lives that's governed by, again, those retail kings, those video streaming kings of Amazon, of Prime, of Uber even, and I'll come on to that in a second. And we step into this world of hotels and we kind of like go back a few years, all right? And we shouldn't. We're kind of like disappointed by how technology is enabling interaction between the operator and the guest, whether that be the commencement of a booking experience, through to the checking-in experience, through to the touch points within that resort, through to leaving and how we then regain that customer to return. It's just, years behind. And I think our evolution and the product set that we have is there to make the lives of our hoteliers a lot easier, elevate the personalization through specific, tailored data capabilities that drive that enhanced stay experience. And I think just will and definitely will take this hotel sector, this hospitality sector, to a level that people didn't think was possible. That people always delivered an excuse. Well, we can't do this because we got these different systems, and this system can't talk to that system in real time. We need real time information. We don't want to wait for these silos of information to be sent to a CRM platform. We don't want to wait 4 weeks for our fantastic marketeers to drive a campaign through, deduping data. We need to know now. When I go to a hotel, all right, and I'm staying there with my family or I'm there on business for a few days, I want to be looked after and I want my experience to be tailored there and then. I don't want to wait when I've left. As soon as I walked out of that door, I've gone. The opportunity for me to spend more money has disappeared. And the likelihood that I'm going to book a stay in another hotel becomes harder for that existing property to try and get me back into that building. So whilst I'm there, that's the moment that we can truly leverage.
What do you think the effective personalisation looks like? If we take that example of someone coming into a property, can you sort of pinpoint a few areas where you've seen some customers do it?
So I think I'm gonna bring in probably some couple of examples.
Yeah.
Let's do one pre-stay. So upgrades. We're all familiar again now in our consumer lives that we make a booking, maybe we do it through an OTA. Hopefully for the hotel we've done it direct because again of the financial benefits and the data benefits from that. But the upgrade message appears on my phone or appears on the email. Would you like to upgrade to the King Suite for £40-50? I don't know really. Yeah, maybe I'll do it today. Maybe I won't. What's important there is again data in being specific to that individual. So every upgrade message that gets sent is tailored to us as individuals. We need to understand, has that individual stayed with us before? If they have, how many times have they accepted an upgrade? How many times have they gone for a particular room when they've upgraded? And also, at what price point did we get their upgrade acceptance? All right. So if we understand that data, then we can be tailored and we can send a message that the likelihood of them accepting the upgrade is very, very high.
Yeah.
All right. And we see that play out through the systems that we deliver. That in parallel versus a very static, do you want to upgrade message is just very different. Yeah. and not personal ultimately. And I think that's where we kind of can drive forward. And we're doing this because we have that unified platform. All right.
Cool.
We own that experience when you check in. It's not a third party to the room system. It's one of the same systems that's delivering this information to the guest.
Thank you.
That's one example. If I'm in property, let's assume I've booked a table for two with my wife in the restaurant. And again, we'll be familiar with reservation systems, table management systems that hold data, relevant data, allergen data, pertinent to the environment I'm in. But how about if I leave that restaurant and I'm going to walk to the spa? All right. What's the interaction going to be with the receptionist at the spa? Is it going to be, oh, good morning, Mr. Prosser. Good afternoon, Mr. Prosser. How are you? Have you stayed with us before? Now, what would be nicer is that actually on the screen, they would know that I've been in the restaurant. They would know what I'd had to eat. All right. They would know my allergens if I was to ever actually purchase food in the spa environment. And the interaction immediately becomes personal, really personal, to the extent that they're wow moments for this customer. All right. But we can only achieve that if we've got this platform where we're interchanging data in a real-time environment. All right. I mean, they're just two examples.
Thank you.
Another example that I heard
really
last
good
week
to
was
obviously get specific evidence of the way that affects the guest experience. And I guess naturally, Matthew, that leads into the topic of revenue and driving income, which is clearly key to everyone. Because I guess when personalisation is done right, it often unlocks value that hotels didn't even realise they're missing. So I think I've read somewhere else that you said they're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, I think there's a case probably for every property to look at their peripheral and secondary revenues, all right, and appreciate that money is definitely being left on the table. again, we have this legacy mindset that we always have to focus on the rooms, the ADR, the RevPAR, and we're governed by the success of our property through, the rates we're selling our rooms at. But we absolutely should consider those food and beverage environments. I think at a lot of hotels, the food and beverage environments can be a bit static. Have gathered a bit of dust. We need to liven them up to start with, and we need to entice our customers in again through personalisation. Maybe it's a nice booking flow. Maybe I shouldn't be using the OTA to book my room, and then there's no reach out ability from the hotel. Actually, if I come to the booking website, what I want to be doing, I want to be booking my room. At the same time, I want to be booking my restaurant. Sure. At the same time, I want to be booking my spa. And perhaps if there's a golf course, for example, and I appreciate city centre hotels, the dynamics are different. But I also want to be booking, 9 holes or 18 holes. Maybe there's an activity as well to do. But I want that to be in one experience, one simple, easy to use workflow. And I want that information in real time to be going into all the systems. And again, now there are absolutely products out there that give that front end capability. So the consumer is appeased in a way that they see a reasonable experience. But actually, we've also got to think about the 15, 20 people that sit in a hotel reservations office that receive this information in a fragmented way and then spend the rest of the day putting it into systems. Maybe one system gets it in real time, but the other 5 don't. And then we've got to put it all together and create the itinerary and then send it out. And it's fragmented. We need that to be seamless. And in a way, we've already gained additional revenue because of how the booking engine has been created. All right. We've not just got the rooms, then we've got to spend 4 weeks trying to sell everything else.
Sure.
When I'm in the venue, we absolutely leave money on the table. We've got to entice people into the food and beverage. And actually, the spa industry is very close to my heart. I'm an advisor on the UK board. And the spa is almost a forgotten element. And it's frustrating in a way because the money that's left on the table in the spa is significant. All right. And actually, whether that be through operational efficiencies, dynamic pricing efficiencies, AI-driven efficiencies, we absolutely have to deliver the capabilities, and we do as an organization. But this is a message to the market that we've got to bring the spa and other departments into the fold, and by engaging in a meaningful way with our guests, we can entice them in to spend that additional element of revenue. And as I said in the beginning, when they're in property, that's the moment that we analyze and assess and present meaningful data to our operators, and then in turn to our guests to ensure that we can upsell. All right. When they're there, we have to do that. And actually, I spent 10 years in the football industry, and the ethos and logic in football was when I come into the stadium for an hour and a half, that's my moment. They bought that ticket, but now I want them to buy a shirt. I want them to buy food and drink. That's my moment in terms of how I entice them. Actually, in the hotel industry, we don't have an hour and a half. We've got hours and days to ensure that we increase that spend.
Sure.
So, I think we're trying to change the mindset, the philosophy. And as I said, again, right at the beginning, we're trying to, I guess, go beyond what has been possible. We're delivering what is now possible, and we're elevating to a new level of thinking for our hoteliers that didn't think any of this was possible.
Sure.
All right. And that's the exciting thing.
Thank you. And look, there's obviously a plethora of tools and systems out there, and you make a good case for using them, and ultimately the owners, the general managers, the hoteliers, they all want to drive incremental revenues and deliver personalisation and so on. How do you go about, and interested to understand the conversations that people have said to you about how does a hotelier make the case internally for tech investment?
Yeah, and that's a tough one actually. There's always some reticent versus the spend versus the return.
Yeah.
But my message to all hoteliers is you've got to embrace the technology. You've got to leverage the capabilities of technology in today's world, because it will absolutely deliver you a return on investment. It will absolutely provide areas of focus, areas that need attention in terms of driving better revenue streams. And with the advent of AI, moving at a pace probably that I think our industry has never seen, or any industry, I should add, has never seen, we have to embrace it.
Yeah.
You cannot be left behind. And the implementation of technology in today's world, certainly with cloud-based products, is a lot easier than it was. Again, we as an organization provide the ability to have that stepping stone approach in terms of, the building blocks that ultimately have that end result of delivering a unified platform. But if hoteliers are going to stand still and not look towards the future in terms of what their returns are, then they will absolutely, in today's world, and as I say, with the advent of AI, definitely be left behind.
Yeah.
Tailored personalization and the data that drives that tailored personalization is paramount.
Thank you. You mentioned AI, so it's a good segue. It's obviously a hot topic across every industry, but also for hotels in particular. Where do you see, and it's a big question, and we could probably speak about an hour on it, but I'm going to ask you, where do you see AI having the biggest impact right now, and what excites you most about its future potential in the hospitality industry?
I think it continues to be an evolving topic, but I think we're all fairly well understanding of what AI can deliver for us in our general consumer lives, where I think that most of us are accustomed to the likes of ChatGPT and what that delivers. But I think within our industry, it's really just going to help, aside from delivering more efficiencies, is it will continue to tailor and identify better ways of personalization. AI will definitely deliver a more efficient way of us operating within our properties, but giving autonomy to AI agents and AI solutions to better understand your business is again paramount. We did a study with a property, and I unfortunately can't name the property, but we used AI capabilities to suggest to us, based on previous data and trends, the likelihood or propensity or percentage of guests investing in a further product with us. That could have been a spa, it could have been F&B, could have been a general activity. And this delivered some fantastic results that ultimately showed that this particular resort over the course of a year left somewhere between $2 and $3 million on the table that they didn't even think they could get. And what I mean by that is it would return information, said, right, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they've stayed with you, for a number of times. They spent this amount. They dwell in this area. If you were to approach them now and suggest a particular spa treatment, the likelihood of them accepting that would be 90%.
Sure.
Right? Now, that delivery of that message may be through a digital means, through our app, or God forbid in today's world, we actually would approach them and have a verbal conversation with them. But ultimately, that data in real time is available to the operators to, ensure that we can enhance their experience and obviously try and achieve a bit more of the wallet from them during their stay. So that was quite unique in that we had AI telling us where we should focus our efforts to increase revenue.
Thank you.
We've also done a lot of AI on the operational side. I can give you some good spa examples. Two things: white space in the spa environment is a horrible word. All right, white space essentially refers to the gaps that are left in the weekly schedule when treatments are booked. And if you don't manage that correctly, again, just even for a regular hotel, that can add up to thousands and thousands. All right. So we took AI capability to ensure that the booking process, all right, made intelligent decisions to ensure that we didn't take, long bookings or short bookings, leaving half-hour space. We would appropriately ensure that the availability and the selection treatments for the consumer or the guest was appropriate to ensure that we filled up every day. In addition to that, not only did we ensure that we could fill up the white space, and this is unique features that again doesn't exist in many products around the world. But in addition to that, and at the same time, we ensured that we could sell our most profitable items, all right, at those peak times. So those shoulder hours of that day would push out lower, less profitable items. But in those peak times, the availability and booking capability for the guests through our booking engine, they would only see the selection of high profitable items during those peak hours. So not only were we filling up the white space, we were making more money as well against the treatments we were booking. And they're very special in terms of, putting dynamic pricing to one side, which has been present for a long time, but adding dynamic pricing into those two AI-driven initiatives. And it revolutionizes the way you run a spa. So just some examples again in terms of how we're using AI.
That's really useful to listen to some real life use cases. Matt, before we wrap up, we've covered a lot from data, personalization, and to revenue growth and the power of AI in hospitality. If there's just one message, if possible, you'd like hotel and accommodation leaders, professionals to take away from this conversation, what would it be?
Don't stand still. Do not stand still. Embrace AI. Ignore it at your peril. All right, and it's time to revisit your technology stack for the future benefit of your guest and the generations to come. Are vitally important. All right, so don't stand still. Don't ignore technology advancements. Embrace it. If you can't, if you don't have the confidence or capability, seek help. There's many external organizations out there, but do not stand still. All right, you have to look and revisit the technology stack that you have.
Thank you. Matt, thanks again for sharing those brilliant insights. It's clear that tech, data, personalization are going to be critical drivers of success for hotels over the next few years. For everyone watching, you'll be able to meet Matt and the Agilysys team in person at No Vacancy Expo London, which takes place February 25th, 26th, 2026 at Excel London. You can visit the website for more details. Matt, we thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Dan. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.